which assures glorious death. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shatvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Guna Tatra Shakshinimnam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Shatvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Guna Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Guna Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Atmano Gunai Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Tattvam Rajas Tama Iti Atmano Guna Atmanam Yo Veda Na Sa Bhadyate Prakritirat Mano Gunai Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Guna Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Gunai Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate. Mataji's Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakriti Natmano Guna Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Gunai Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam Yo Veda Sa Na Bhadyate Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti Prakrite Natmano Gunai Tatra Shakshinam Atmanam sanabhajate. Tama iti prakritena atmano gunan tatsvinam shakshatmanam yo veda sanabhajate. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Raja, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Iti, thus, prakriti, of the material nature. Na, not. Atmana, of the spirit soul. Gunaha, the qualities. Tatra, in such a position. Shakshinam, an observer. Atmanam, the self. Ya, anyone who. Veda, knows. Sa, he. Na, not. Bhadyate, is bound. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One who knows that the three qualities, goodness, passion and ignorance, are not qualities of the soul, but qualities of the material nature. And who knows that the pure soul, the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities. Let me read it again. One who knows that the three qualities, goodness, passion and ignorance, are not qualities of the soul, but qualities of material nature, and who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities, should be understood to be a liberated person. He is not bound by these qualities. Please repeat. One who knows that the three qualities, goodness, passion and ignorance, are not the qualities of the soul, but qualities of material nature. And one who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities should be understood to be a liberated person. He is not bound by these qualities. Purport. As the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita 18:54, Brahmabhuta Prashanatma na sochati na kanchati shama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labati param. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to all living entity, to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. When one attains self-realization, the Brahmabhuta stage, one knows that whatever happens during his life is due to the contamination of the modes of material nature. The living being, the pure soul, has nothing to do with these modes. In the midst of the hurricane of the material world, everything changes very quickly. But if one remains silent and simply observes the actions and reactions of the hurricane, he is understood to be liberated. The real qualification of the liberated soul is that he remains Krishna conscious, undisturbed by the actions and reactions of the material energy. Such a liberated person is always jubilant. He never laments or aspires for anything. Since everything is supplied by the Supreme Lord, the living entity, being fully dependent on him, should not protest or accept anything in terms of his personal sense gratification. Rather, he should receive everything as the mercy of the Lord, and remain steady in all circumstances. Om Agyantamidandasha Jananjalan Shalakayo Takshuran Militanjina Tashmaya Shri Grinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garatha Shiva Shari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation: one who knows that these three qualities, goodness, passion and ignorance, are not qualities of the soul, but qualities of material nature, and who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities, should be understood to be a liberated person. He is not bound by these qualities. So this is almost identical with one Bhagavad Gita shloka in the chapter of the three modes of material nature. And Krishna says, when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these three modes of nature, and he knows that the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. So here, by analysis or understanding things as they are, one can attain a spiritual nature, being pointed out here. The vision, this is the vision of the self-realized person. He is seeing the actions and reactions that are going on in the material world. We have to act, we have to react, but he sees it as it's just the drama of Imrajagun or Shatagun or Tamagun. He's simply observing these different activities that are going on, but he's seeing actually nothing is happening except the modes of material nature are pushing and causing everything to happen. The modes of material nature are the big controllers of this world, and they are causing everything to happen. Sometimes prominently goodness, sometimes predominantly passion, sometimes predominantly in ignorance. But they're always in activity, and not for one moment do they let up. So this is talking about a person, a sober person, interested in self-realization. He should have this vision. He should be observant to what's going on, and see it as simply an action and a reaction of the modes of material nature, that's all. Sometimes mixed, sometimes but they're constantly in flux. It's like the weather. You see now, it's kind of calm, it's a little bit windy, so it's a little bit cooler, more pleasant. But a few days ago, heavy torrential rain, it was very passionate, flooding was there. So like that you see in nature now, it's quite calm. Sometimes a hurricane comes, you mentioned hurricane, that sometimes the trees are very tomatic, the trees are sometimes uprooted like that. You sometimes see in Mayapur, there's strong wind is coming. You see the tree and suddenly it's gone. Banana trees and things like that. So very tomatic, but it's always something is happening. It's got to be something happening right now. Some mixtures, some qualities. So the sober person is seeing that that's what's happening, and he's understanding that I'm not actually doing anything except desiring. I have desire to participate in these dramas that's going on. Whatever it is, if we desire to participate, we have to participate. That is social life. Otherwise, unless you want to be, just be a Muni and go to the Himalayas and not interact with society and just observe the way nature is coming and understanding how you are aloof, and also the Supreme Lord is aloof from these activities of the material energy. Although Krishna is the doer and of all activities, but he's simply sanctioning the activity, and it's done through his energy. He does everything through his energy. Devi Yeshi Gunamaya, Mama Maya Durataya. This material energy of mine, Krishna says, it's my energy. It's difficult to overcome unless one surrenders to Krishna. So it's Krishna's energy that's working. So Krishna works through his energy. And Krishna is fulfilling the desires of everyone. This is why Krishna is working. Krishna is dictating to the modes of material nature at every moment, do this, do this. Why? Because the living entities are desiring also. They want to do this, they want to do this. So Krishna is sanctioning the material energy to execute the activity to satisfy the desire of the living entity. But the living entity, he doesn't do anything except desire. That's all he can do. We cannot move everything around independently. We cannot even get from one side of the room to the other side of the room independently. We have to take help of the body, material and nature. So this is the conditioned state of the living entity. So Prabhupada says in the same chapter, Three Modes of Material Nature, Prabhupada says, how does one stay aloof from the material energy? We're very much affected. Passion that suddenly appears, we're affected. We get lost sometimes. Or goodness, ignorance, whatever it is. So how does one stay aloof if the activities of material nature and they're nothing to do with the living entity? How does he stay aloof? And Prabhupada says in the purport that he doesn't try to enjoy the modes of material nature, nor does he try to get out of the modes of material nature. So that's what everyone is doing. Either you're trying to enjoy the material world, or if you become a yogi, you try to get out of the material world. But Prabhupada says, no, this is how you can stay aloof. You don't try to enjoy it, nor do you try to get out. We're not interested in bhakti, we're not interested in mukti even. We want bhakti, we just want seva to Krishna. But on this path, then we adopt what's favorable for Krishna because of our conditioned nature. So it's favorable to be aloof from the material energy. It's favorable. So we adopt that process. We try to remain aloof. And enjoying material energy is unfavorable. So we try to reject the unfavorable aspect of material energy for the devotees. So like in this way, in this verse says, is it? One who knows that the pure soul is an observer of the actions of these qualities should be understood to be a liberated person. Yeah, he's not bound by his actions. So here in this verse he's saying that the living entity, the soul, he becomes aloof from these material, from the material actions and reactions of the modes of material nature. And Krishna says, you see what's happening. The modes of material nature are happening. Everything is moving due to the influence of the modes of material nature. And the devotee sees that behind this. Why it's moving? Because of the will of the Lord is there. The will of the Lord is causing everything to move. Otherwise it wouldn't move. Not a blade of grass will move without the sanction of the Lord. So it's all moving. So when we see that there's nothing in all activities except the modes of material nature, and he understands that the Supreme Lord is aloof from that nature, he's just sanctioning it to happen, or sanctioning it not to happen. then one can understand my nature. We have a nature similar to Krishna. In the purple Prabhupada is talking about Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma. You can understand this nature of Krishna by observance. This is simply telling, by being observant, you can actually get self-realized by being observant. And seeing nature working around you, and the Lord is the observer. We are the observer, he says. But the Lord is sanctioning it. So then we're seeing it's the hand of the Lord that's making everything function. So when we understand that, instead of becoming absorbed in the activities of material nature, we see the hand of the Lord there. It's happening because of the Lord. Who is that Lord? That is my Lord, my lovable Lord. This is how great He is. He's moving everything. So it's Krishna. So that helps us to remember Krishna. And once we can understand Krishna behind that, then then Krishna says, then you can understand my transcendental nature. You can understand my spiritual nature. Understanding how Krishna is acting. We're seeing what's happening, the activities in the world are happening, and how Krishna is acting within that by his sanctioning, his observing, sanctioning. When we see how Krishna is aloof from the energy, then we can become aloof. By observance, this is being pointed out here. So simply by observance, it doesn't seem like a big realization, because you can do it right now at any moment, because this is what's happening all around you. You take a note of the environment, and it's moving due to the modes of material nature. But actually, we're trying to see Krishna's hand. He's actually pushing the buttons behind it. So, it's Krishna who's behind it. He's aloof. He's not. Then we can also attain the same nature as Krishna. He stated quite clearly in Bhagavad Gita, and the same thing here. Then we can understand the transcendental nature of Krishna. So, then, when he attains this state of self-realization on Brahma Bhuta stage, one knows that whatever happens during his life is due to the contamination of the modes of material nature. But he, as his pure soul, he has nothing to do with these material modes of nature. So again, he should not protest or accept anything in terms of personal sense gratification. Rather, he should receive everything as the mercy of the Lord and remain steady in all circumstances. So, this is Vritrashura. He's giving some very moral and good instruction to King Indra. He's bringing his consciousness, he's pushing Indra's consciousness. Indra's consciousness is that he's controlling, actually. He's the king of heaven, and he's in a battle, and he's the doer. He's identifying himself as a doer, Indra. And I'm going to kill Vritrashura. When Vritrashura practically kills him, and oh God, now he's thinking, I'm the loser. I'm ashamed. He threw the thunderbolt, and I lost my thunderbolt. He half killed my elephant. I'm going to be defeated now. So first he's thinking, I'm the controller, and then he's thinking, I'm going to win, and then he's thinking, no, I'm going to lose. So gain and defeat, victory, and he's on this platform. And so Vritrashura, as the demon, he's pushing his consciousness up. No, you don't see like this. You don't identify yourself with the activities of material nature. You just perform your duty as you're supposed to under the dictation of Krishna, and just everything will come out. Depend on Krishna, however it comes out, but don't identify yourself as a doer, because when you identify yourself as a doer, then you identify yourself as the enjoyer or the sufferer. So Indra Indra is actually the Asura, and Vritrashura is actually the Asura. He's the Deva. He has demigod consciousness. He's talking about self-realization. He's pushing Indra up. Indra is the demigod, supposed to be he's got the Asura consciousness of, Mama Meti, it's I and mine. I'm the controller. I'm the enjoy. I'm going to become victorious in the battle. He's going to become defeated. So they kind of swap roles here. So this is the greatness of Vritrashura. That's why he's got his place in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're speaking about demons here, and we're glorifying glorifying a demon because of his Krishna consciousness. Of course, he's in the same family as Prahlad Maharaj. We glorify Prahlad Maharaj. He was born in the demoniac family. But so you see, it's just a question of consciousness. It's a question of Krishna consciousness in this material world. That's the positive alternative, that we have Krishna consciousness. Just by this one thing of being Krishna conscious, then everything else is taken care of. We don't by surrendering to Krishna. Then those who surrender Krishna, what did he say? Anyway, those who surrender me, they usually cross this ocean of material existence. So this is the purpose of human life, is to cross over the material existence. That's stated throughout the Vedas. But how to cross over? Then you've got millions and millions of instructions. Some people say you cross over through Gyan. This is actually Gyan. He's teaching now to Indra. Vritrashura is giving him knowledge. So the Vedas are full of the paths of Gyan, the paths of yoga, the paths of Dharma, the paths of renunciation. So many different ways, so many ways to execute or become, come to the transcendental platform. But this takes many, many births. Bhavanam Jamananti, Jnanamam, the Jnani, searching for truth. It takes him thousands and thousands of births to come to the point of understanding Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sadhulabha. He comes to that point of understanding Krishna Vasudeva. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That took thousands and thousands of births to come to that stage. Through the process of Gyan, being a Jnani, searching for truth. But Krishna conscious persons, we don't have to do that. Krishna conscious is much more direct and absolute. In regard to that verse, Bhavanam Jamananti, Prabhupada said that the result of knowledge of thousands of births is that you come to the conclusion Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva Sarvamita. Surrender, you come to the point of surrender. But Prabhupada said now, this is Krishna's words, Prabhupada said, now I'm telling you that if you surrender to Krishna, you should surrender to Krishna. And if you hear me, and you do surrender to Krishna, you jump those thousands of births, you skip over those thousands and thousands of births. Because this is the conclusion of thousands of births of being a Jnani. So this is the benefit of one moment's association with a pure devotee. Because you can meet a pure devotee and he can tell you Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one sentence, as we're saying all the time. And you're his servant, you should surrender to him. You can, and Prabhupada said that practically in every lecture. We speak it all the time when we're preaching, that's what we're, but so understanding that, okay, and then you take the process of surrender, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means you jumped over thousands and thousands of births to come to that conclusion. So this is the greatness of the devotee. He makes everything short because he's presenting the path of bhakti. When things are done in the mood of favorable devotional service of Krishna, then Krishna takes care of everything. So the paths of Jnana, Yoga, everything, all those different paths that people are addicted to. I like the Shonapati. Shonapati means the goldsmith. He's making earring or nose ring, little nose ring like that. So he has a little bit of gold, and he's tap, 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 tap. Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness is like the blacksmith's process. The blacksmith, he has a big hammer about, a solid hammer, iron, and one stroke, Krishna consciousness. No need to tap, 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 tap. This is the other processes. So this one process of Krishna consciousness, boom, everything finished. Surrender to Krishna, and Krishna will take care of everything. So this is the sublime message that Mahaprabhu has presented to make it easy for us by this whole process of devotional service. Today is also the Hera Panchami and the disappearance day of Brakeshwara Pandit. If anybody has any question on this point, Prabhu, Jananivas.
So what if a person is brought before the judge, like a murderer or a rapist or whatever, and he says, "Oh judge, I'm just a hapless victim of the rules of this true nature. I'm actually innocent. Why would you punish me? Because it's just the most of the true nature acting. And I'm anyway giving these people their karma. So you should actually not punish me, and I would anyway be punished by the Lord karma. So why would you interfere in this process and punish me? So I should not be punished. So what will the enlightened judge say?"
He would have said you shouldn't have got caught. Because you got caught, that's why. Don't get caught. It's a good point. And it's the fact that one does transcend these modes of material nature. And but you're in the material world, you have material laws, you have to abide by them. Otherwise there's reaction. So this is from the angle of vision of the Dharma Shastra. It's giving you forbidden activities and activities you should be performed. These activities, and they should be performed, these shouldn't. So this is according to the Dharma Shastra. If you do the good activities, you get the result. If you do the bad activities, you get the you also get the result. Reaction. But Krishna consciousness is actually transcendental to pious and impious, according to the Dharma Shastra. Just like it says, you perform the Pinda ceremony, the Shraddha ceremony for your family members. It's good for their well-being. You offer the prasad to the forefathers, deceased forefathers. So you do your duty. It's pious, it's dharmic. You're going to perform that duty. And if you don't do it, then you fail to pay off the debt. So there's punishment. It's called Rini. Rini and Kinkara. Rini means debtor. When you're born, you're indebted. Your mother and father, they gave you the body. Your teachers, the government who maintained everything, sages who give you knowledge. You're indebted to 6 people. And human form of life means that you pay off these debts. This is what the Dharma Shastras are teaching. You're a debtor, you pay off the debts. So then you spend your life paying paying off all these debtors. And if you don't, you are sinful. So, but for one who is Krishna conscious, one who is initiated in a bona fide sampradaya with the Vishnu names, then he's not obligated to follow these rules and regulations. And in fact, if he does follow it, and he does offer pinda to his forefathers and worship the pictures, he makes nama aparad and seva aparad. Although he's supposed to do that, because that's dharmic, he's supposed to do that and pay off his debts. He pays off the debts, but if he's a devotee, he does it and worships the pictures and the devatas, then he makes nama aparad and seva aparad. He does the ceremony of pinda, which is with the one of the nama aparadas. One shouldn't consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as a ritualistic karmakanda activity. So you make nama aparad and you stop your service to do the materialistic ceremony. So you make seva aparad also, even unknowingly, says Gopal Bhatta Goswami says. So although it's there and it's mentioned, it's Dharma Shastra, but Krishna consciousness transcends all that. Yeah, so you've got, okay, you're a rini, you're a debtor, so you're paying your debts off, which means you do your Pitra Puja and you do your Deva Puja. You're indebted to the demigods for the light, heat, rain. So you do your Deva Puja. Well, what's the result of that? What does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Those who worship the Pitras, those who worship the Devas, they go to the Deva. Those who worship the Pitras, they go to Pitra Loka. So you become a kinkara, a servant. So you start serving the Devas and you start serving the Pitra that happens in Pitra Loka. Then your next birth you go there. One who worships the Devas, they go to the planet of the Devas. So this is so much for your so-called Dharma Shastras in comparison to Krishna consciousness, in comparison to a sinful world. It's fantastic. Everybody's praising Dharma Shastra. It's fantastic. You should do it. But in comparison to Krishna consciousness, it's actually sinful. If you're dependent on ritualistic activities, Krishna's saying, Sarvadhanam Parityajam, Krishna's forbidden. Give it all up. Give up those activities and surrender to me. Yeah, so don't get caught. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Lord Chaitanya himself, he performed the Pinda ceremony of his father, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He went to Gaya, he did all the Sraddha Karma. So, and also Prabhupada mentioning many times that we follow like Sraddha Karma ceremony and other ceremony, ritualistic ceremony. And you already told that it is Nam Aparad, Seva Aparad, if you do that.
Yeah, Mahaprabhu we went to Gaya to perform Pinda for his father, Jananivas. Yeah, but the acharyas have explained it, that he went there on the plea of doing this Pinda. He went to meet his Guru Maharaj, because that's where he met Ishvarapur and became initiated. So that was part of his pastime. And he was the leader of the Brahminical community, where he was very respected. So the Brahmanas have to set example. So to set an example as a perfect Brahman, then he did the duty to the forefathers, and like that he went there. Otherwise, when Swarup Damodar Maharaj also, when his father died, now Swarup Damodar Maharaj, and he wrote to Prabhupada, should I go to Gaya like Mahaprabhu went to Gaya? And Prabhupada said, not necessary for a sannyasi. Your service is the greatest thing you can do for your relatives. Your devotional service is millions of times greater than offering the ritualistic activity. You do much more benefit simply by performing devotional service. You liberate how many generations up, how many generations down if you become a pure devotee of Krishna. And what do you get by performing a ceremony of pinda or worshipping demigods? You simply take birth again. So there's no comparison to the activities of devotional service, to the karma kanda activities, and even though in the mode of goodness.
Another point is all the Dharma Shastra, they are coming from Krishna, all the Dharma Shastra.
Yes.
So if someone follows the Dharma Shastra, he is following Krishna in another
Yes.
way. So how it will become like
No,
Namaprasad?
then it takes, you follow, was it 100 births perfectly, Varnashram, following every, you take birth as a Brahma, is that correct? You can take birth as a Lord Brahma. You've got to follow exactly 100 consecutive births, perfectly following Varnashram. You can take a birth of Brahma. Then from Brahma, what's going to happen? You don't, it may come back down again. It may go up again. So, yeah, better become Krishna conscious. It solves all of the problems. Yes?
So often we see these great Vaishnava acharyas, they write laments, you know. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote laments. I didn't do this, I wasted my time like this. So, what's the difference between that kind of lament, the lament of the Vaishnava acharya, and the lament of regular lamentation? Oh, I lost my girlfriend, oh, my bank balance is low. So they're both lamenting. So if there's no somebody who's attained from Brahman realization, which is just a byproduct of devotional service, why is he lamenting? Bhaktivinoda Thakur and these other acharyas.
Yeah, this, what they're talking about, he never laments and he sees everything as equal, and he is Brahma Buddha Prashanatma. For him, he's lamenting it. They're both spiritual positions, Bhakti and Brahma Bhuta. Brahmaneti Paramatmi Bhagavaneti Sabhyati. But this Brahma Bhuta is in Shantaras. So why lament in Shantaras? Everything is. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's tasting the transcendental humor. That's in whatever his relationship with Krishna is. He's established that sambandha, especially as followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he come to experience that also separation in Buddha's separation from Krishna. So much lamentation is there. So that's a spiritual lamentation, where one experiences all these emotions, and it's very, very deep for those devotees. But for the Brahma Buddha Prashanatma, he's just practically there's no bhakti in that. He's almost like, was it Brahmananda Puri? When Madhavendra Puri was leaving his body and his disciples? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was a great Vaishnava in the conjugal mood of Krishna, and his disciple said, "Why you are crying and lamenting like this? You should be equipoised at the time of leaving your body. You shouldn't be lamenting. It's a sign of weakness. You should be aloof from everything." He said, "Get this guy out of here. Get him out of here. I don't want to die looking into the face of this Mayavadi atheist." Yeah, different sentiments are there.
But sometimes, it seems
Yeah, yeah. But what did he waste so much time for? From coming to Krishna, forgetting Krishna, that was his lamentation. But when one is absorbed in these different moods, then that's absolute. That's actually all that's existing at that time. So when he's saying, I've just simply wasted my life in sense gratification, he's really feeling that. And he is... this is they're living it, they're expressing it, they're feeling it. That's all that is existing. I did waste my life at that time. That's it. This is like Narottam. Same thing. All these acharyas, but they say, or Narottam, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Jaradama Sampada. Rupa Goswami, he's my life and soul, he's my guru, he's my mantra. There's not, at that time, that's all that's existing for the devotee. He's just absorbed in that aspect, and there's nothing else existing for that period. Then the next time he's singing Radha Krishna Pranamoy Jugala Kishore. Actually, there's no existence except Radha and Krishna. They are my love, they are my life. Nothing existing outside of that. So this is the nature of bhakti. When you're absorbed in it, that's all that is existing. Nothing else exists outside of that. But the mood is always changing. You saw in Mahaprabhu's pastime in Shiva Sangam. He's falling at the feet of the devotees. Where is Krishna? Please give me your mercy. I can't get the mercy. I know by the dust of the feet of the devotees we can get Krishna prema. I have no. And then he sits on the altar of Srivasi's altar, pushes the shalagram to one side. I am he, I am he. Another time he's dancing in ecstasy, and another time I'm not a devotee, where is Krishna? So constant, that's why it's called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's an ocean. An ocean is not flat, it's constantly. So Bhakti is constantly like that, from one emotion to another, to another, to another. And you're not going to stop to think about the last one. You just go on and on forever. This is Krishna's supreme enjoyer. From one emotion to another, for eternity. That's just Krishna's passion. So Hera Panchami today, I just 1 minute, okay, 1 minute on each. Hera Panchami. Because Jagannath and Balaram and Subhadra, they're going to Vrindavan. And according to the culture, and I guess also Bengali culture, then the wife of the younger brother shouldn't be in the presence of the elder brother. Is that right? At least alone. That's the culture. So, because Balaram is also going to Vrindavan, to Gundicha, then that means Lakshmi can't go because she's the wife of his younger brother, Krishna. So she can't go. She's a little bit, everyone else is going and I can't go. So therefore Krishna, after this Snanyatra, he gives that time, that Anushwara, that period of 15 days when they take advantage and repaint Jagannath. So Krishna gives that time on the plea of catching a fever. He just goes and he spends time with Lakshmi. So that 15 days he's just with Lakshmi. They're in the gardens. They're all alone. So his full attention he can give to Lakshmi, and she's going to be, because she'll lament a bit and feel separation. So Krishna gives all that time to Lakshmi, and whatever they do, wandering in the gardens, eating sweet rice or whatever. Anyway, just enjoying each other's association. So so Krishna and Balaram and Subhadra, they go and get on the chariot and they go to Vrindavan, Gundicha. But Jagannath said, I'm coming back in 1 or 2 days. So then Panchami, today is Panchami. Then 5 days he didn't come back. She's sitting there, so she becomes very angry because he promised he'll come back in 5 days. He's not come back. So she calls all of her attendants, all of her guards come, and the Shakis come, the attendants, and they all pick up sticks and weapons, and her personal guard is there, and they go marching down to Gundicha. She's sitting in the palanquin. She was proud. And they go down and they jump on the guards and they start beating up Jagannath's guards at the gate, and they beat them. Where is that Jagannath? Where Krishna come? Then they capture them, they tie them up, and they start hurling abusive words at them. Got your spirit going on there. And they start beating the cart. They break one of the wheels of the cart. They took Jagannath away. And then they have to get a message. Krishna has a promise. Okay, I'll come. Don't worry, I'm coming. Gotcha, as soon as possible. So she feels a little bit better. She's exhibited her rat. And okay, then they carry her back to the. Astonishing pastime. And when on the altar rat, they go back to the Jagannath goes back to the temple. The gates are locked. So the rat, okay, open the gates. Jagannath's here. The guards say, we've got orders from the queen. You cannot. She's not to open the gates. He said, I'm the king. It's my palace. It's my temple. Why you don't open the gates? Lakshmi said, you can't come in. So I said, what can I do? So he sends a elephant, decorated elephant. You can come on the elephant. She sends it back. He sends a palanquin all decorated and so many jewels and necklaces and everything to try to appease her. So then she eventually comes to the gate, the other side of the gate. So what do you want? So I want to come in. Your husband. Why you want to come with me? I'm just a daughter of a beggar woman. No, you let me in. You know, if you come in, what's going to happen to Subhadra? You left me all alone, and I know what it's like. Now if you come in, you're going to leave Subhadra all alone? She'll lament, so better you stay with Subhadra. So these conversations, going, the king come, call the king. The king has to make some appeals. Yeah. Then finally Lakshmi relents. Okay, open the door. And they let Jagannath in. So they actually perform that pastime in Jagannath Puri also. Hare Panchami ki jai. And Rakeshwar Pandit was great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the Gaurganadesa Tipika, it said that Rakeshwar Pandit was actually Aniruddha, one of the Chata Vyuha, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Shankarshan, Vasudev. He was actually Aniruddha, and also he was one of Radharani's dear Shakis named Shashi Rekha Shaki, also entered into Rakeshwar Pandit. Some statements also say that Tungaviti Devi also somehow or another partially expanded in, because it makes sense in once, because Tungaviti, she's a dancing professor also, and Rakeshwar Pandit, he was known for his great dancing. It said that he was dancing for 72 hours non-stop. This dancing, and he asked Mahaprabhu, because they were all in ecstasy dancing, and Siddham Mahaprabhu was singing, and he was praying, my moon-faced Lord, please give me 1,000 Gandharvas. Give me 1,000 Gandharvas who can sing while I dance. Mahaprabhu said, you are like one of my wings. If I only had another wing like you, I would certainly be able to fly in the sky. So Rakeshwar Pandit, he was always there at Srivasangam or wherever they had their kirtans, and famous for his dancing, and also he was famous for delivering Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit defended Srivas Thakur by not saying anything, or when his disciples threw Srivas out of his ashram. So Mahaprabhu chastised him heavily, and Prakashvara Pandit was come to stay with Devananda Pandit. And by the association of Rakashvara, then Devananda gradually became converted and understood the supremacy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a great reader of Bhagavatam. He only studied Bhagavatam, and he knew it from childhood. He had all good qualities. He was completely detached. He knew Bhagavatam inside out. But he didn't know the meaning of real bhakti. He didn't understand Lord Chaitanya, and so he couldn't really understand the essence of bhakti in Srimad Bhagavatam. But by association with Rakashvara Pandit, then also later he became converted, and Mahaprabhu was very pleased of the service he was rendering to Rakashvara Pandit. And Mahaprabhu then actually delivered him from his offenses. And he said, you get free from offenses by the same. If you offended someone with your mouth, with words, then you should go with the same mouth, you should ask forgiveness from those persons you have offended. The same mouth that the offenses come out is poison, like poison coming out. That when you glorify the Lord's devotees or the Lord, that becomes like Amrita, nectar. That will counteract the poison of blasphemy. So with the same mouth that blasphemes someone or criticizes Vaishnava, that same mouth, one should glorify the Lord, it should glorify the devotees. This is the only way to get free from the offenses made to Vaishnavas. And also he had one disciple named Gopal Guru, who is very famous. And Gopal Guru, he was the one he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went out in the morning to relieve himself. Mahaprabhu was holding his tongue. So Gopal said, I see when you go out in the morning time, you're holding your tongue. And Mahaprabhu said, no, because when I'm going outside, it's impure place, so I hold my tongue. My tongue can't stop chanting Hare Krishna, but I don't want to chant Hare Krishna in an impure place. So Gopal said, you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no question of impurities for you. And anyway, even if you do, because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what about other people? What about those? They won't be able to get delivered. They're not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Mahaprabhu said, yes, you are right. Actually, you are right. Your teacher, there's no question of purity or impurity when the chanting of Hare Krishna is going on. You are my guru. You are the teacher of the purity of Krishna and Krishna's names. You are my guru. So then he gave him the name Gopala Guru. Then Abhiram Thakur came once to pay his obeisances to Gopal Guru. When Abhiram paid his obeisances, that person would often die, or the deity would crack. Everyone would flee anyway. Everyone would run away when Abhiram would take their kids with them. But he came to test Gopal Guru. He came to pay his obeisances. Gopal Guru said, woo! He jumped on Mahaprabhu's lap and took shelter on Mahaprabhu's lap. Then Abhiram Thakur paid his obeisances and nothing happened to Gopal Guru. Rakashvara Pandit Tirupava Mahotsav Ki Nitai Go Premanandi. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Gauranga.